As advertised, the tour finally got around to the blood and black magic. When virginal sacrifices came up, despite the cool of the day, the glowering redhead began a slow burn. Brandy decided she was either an angry virgin or she knew Felix personally. Either way, Brandy's patience was eventually rewarded. Felix got round to the gore, and Brandy came out of sleep mode. She lifted her notebook, poked her ill-fitting reading glasses back on her too short by a smidge nose, and began scribbling. Soon she found herself whispering to Vicky, "Isn't this fascinating?" "Fascinating? I always said virginity was overrated." "What? Oh, virginal sacrifices. I get it," Brandy said. "I agree. The Halloween stuff is silly. I was hoping for more historic details, the executions, burials." "Yeah, Bran." Vicky shook her head. "That's what I meant." Brandy ignored the sarcasm and returned to her notes. Meanwhile, Vicky sighed, yawned, and drifted toward the back of the group. Felix droned on. "It was upon this spot where the Templars' reign of terror came to a terrible but well-deserved end." Vicky wondered what she'd done to deserve this. Unable to pinpoint the sin, she dropped the query and began to mentally list the dozen places she'd rather be. She came up with 8, then realized, sadly, each had the same thing in common. You could smoke. The whole damned United States had stopped smoking, but she was at Castle Freedom. Viva la France. Surely this mausoleum had a corner into which she could duck? It was then Vicky felt a cheek against her flaxen hair, lips brushing her ear, and in a whisper she heard, "You appear nearly as bold as I, mon cher." She turned, taking in the olive-skinned speaker. The man Brandy had whispered looked like Don Juan. "Don't look." Vicky looked now and saw brown-black eyes, a thin mustache, amazingly white teeth, in an expensive blue suit. "Excuse me?" She was buying time to catch her breath, though she hadn't realized she was breathless. "Forgive my rudeness. I merely said you appear as bold as I. My English is—" He waffled his hand, fluttering manicured nails. "If I caused offense?" "Not at all. And you're right. I'm bored. When you've seen one medieval castle—" She hesitated, and he laughed. Relieved, Vicky joined him. "Lou," he said, introducing himself. "Victoria. My friends call me Vicky." Lou Weemond took her offered hand. "Let's be friends, Vicky." "It was here, messieurs et madames," Felix thundered, with an animation unseen until now, "that Jacques de Molay, Grand Master of the Order, and 7 of his temple knights were burned to death for their transgressions against God, for consorting with the devil. From this spot, Francois de Reyes, head of the Castle Freedom, as flames ate away his body, shouted his curse of vengeance." Brandy scribbled with relish. Felix clasped his hands behind him as if he were bound. He stared menacingly into the crowd with insane eyes and screamed, "You who murder us, know this. We shall not die. We shall return from the dead to exact our revenge upon you." A nervous giggle from the crowd, a "Feck!" one of the Frenchwomen gasped aloud. The stick lady, with strategically aimed elbows, made her way to the frightened woman's side, offering comfort. "Revenge," Felix continued mercilessly, "upon you and your children." The woman appeared near fainting. The others were, in their turns, unmoved, delighted, getting jabbed, and glowering. "And your children's children," Lou whispered in Vicky's ear. "And your children's children's children?"